Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about taking back your personal power. So you might be asking yourself, just what is my personal power? I know that you've heard me talk about it all the time on the podcast, but maybe you don't really know what is my own personal power. So I want to talk to you today, first of all, about what is your personal power and how do you take it back? So your personal power refers to the confidence you have in yourself, your ability to express how you feel, to share your beliefs and opinions without fear of being judged by others, without fear of rejection or criticism. It's about being assertive and confidently stating what you want, and then doing everything you can to bring those desires to reality. So a big problem for people pleasers when it comes to personal power is that we often have blocked throat chakras. What does that mean? Well, your throat chakra, which is right in the middle of your throat, right in the middle of your neck, is where we have the confidence to speak our truth. In other words, we have the confidence in ourselves to express our own opinions and our beliefs without fear of judgment, rejection, or criticism. So I want you to imagine for a moment that a friend of yours posts something political that you don't agree with on Facebook. And your first instinct is to quickly write something back. But then you start retracting what you were going to write because you think, oh, well, what if somebody says this? Or what if somebody says that? So you start thinking and rethinking what it is you're going to say because somebody might come back at you. Because let's face it, on social media, people feel a certain sense of anonymity and they don't mind personally attacking people because there's kind of a sense of like, well, I can do this. It's not really me here, but we all know it really is. It's like people hide behind their avatars and they just say what they want to say, even if it's something they would never say to your face. So you begin re-scripting and rewriting until eventually you just decide to scrap the idea because you don't want somebody to say something to you that might hurt your feelings or make you feel stupid or cause an argument, whatever. That is part of your people-pleasing characteristic, is you don't want to cause arguments, you don't want to make waves. So you just decide that you're going to delete what you said because you don't want to cause a problem. And therefore you don't speak your truth at all. You just sat there and watched. You just kind of sat by and watched. So you didn't really express your own opinion at all. And when our throat chakra is blocked, it's usually because we're not speaking our truth. So maybe we're allowing other people to walk all over us, or we're just not standing up for our personal beliefs. And when your throat chakra is blocked and when you're not speaking your truth, it can cause a lot of things. It can cause physical ailments, but it can also cause you to feel resentful because it's frustrating when you cannot speak your truth. It's completely frustrating if you're just sitting around letting other people tell you what to do and you're feeling like you're not living your best life because you're listening to others tell you how you should live your life. That's frustrating. It's really frustrating because you know what you want to say, you know what you want for your life, yet you're sitting back and you're letting others tell you what to do. So some of the physical ailments that you can experience when your throat chakra is blocked is you might actually physically have a sore throat. You may experience laryngitis or swollen glands. You may experience thyroid problems. You may experience voice problems. You may experience issues with your gum or teeth, like you may have like gum disease. I know this all sounds like, what? How can that cause that? It can, and I've seen it. I've seen it a lot in clients who will come to me, and clients will say, well, I can't lose weight, and I've been tested and the doctor says I have thyroid problems and I don't understand what's going on. And then we do a Reiki session, and what it turns out is that they're having issues with their throat chakra. Their throat chakra is really blocked, and in some area in their lives, they're feeling like they're not able to speak their truth, they're not able to be who they truly want to be. So it's causing them to experience these physical symptoms. And it can also cause a lot of mental symptoms too, emotional. So someone who has a blocked throat chakra, who feels like they can't speak their truth, when you feel that way, it sort of feels like you're out of control. And so people who experience that blocked throat chakra, they are often prone to addiction problems. It's like they're self-medicating because they feel like they don't have control over their life anyway. So to block that out, they just turn to other substances. They're quiet. They may have problems with decision making. So it's like they're so used to someone else telling them what to do that they can't make decisions for themselves. And if I feel like I'm describing you, know that I am not in any way judging you, because this is an area that I had a problem with for a long time. Growing up, I had a very, very strong-willed mom, so it was difficult for me sometimes to make my own decisions because I was just used to her telling me what I had to do. It was like, you will do as I say, period. No questions, no exceptions. You know, it was one of those because I said so kind of things. And a lot of us grew up with parents like that. That was the generation. But others, we had probably more of a domineering person in our lives. And it could be your mom or your dad, either one. You may have felt like you had no authority. You had to lie. You have dishonest tendencies. And I understand this part because you feel like you would rather lie to somebody than have to deal with the consequences you're going to face when you tell them the truth. Like, you know they're going to overreact, or you know they're going to start lecturing you or whatever, so you just avoid even telling the truth. So maybe you lie, or again, you just avoid talking to them. You may be confused about yourself, your problems, expressing yourself, trouble finding words. And so in life, you may feel like you're often being taken advantage of. You're not feeling like you're progressing in life, in your work, or in your relationships. You're unable to get what you want because you're not speaking up and taking control to get it. So that is some of what you may be experiencing if you are experiencing having no control over your life, if you're experiencing a blocked throat chakra. So now I'm going to talk about ways that you can actually help to heal this, because there are things you can do. And as anything that I talk about on here, it's usually a process. It's not something that happens overnight, but it is something that you can work on. And I'm going to say this right here and right now. We are all a work in progress. I'm a work in progress, and I don't ever feel like I'm ever going to be done as long as I'm here on this earth, because there's always something that could be better. So when you think of yourself as, I'm a work in progress, I'm not the finished product, that should make you at least feel a little better, because you know that you don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't have to be perfect right now, and you're never going to be perfect. But to know that it's okay to be working on yourself, that should be a good feeling, because we all are. We all are working on ourselves. So one of the things that you can do to kind of start taking back your personal power, or to keep your personal power, number one, don't waste energy complaining. There's a big difference between being a problem solver, taking initiative, and actually taking control over things in your life, and complaining. You've heard that saying, stay away from negative people, they have a problem for every solution. Well, when you start complaining and grumbling, that kind of implies that you don't have any power over your own situation. And it's also showing that you don't have any power over your attitude in your situation. And that's only going to contribute to your feelings of resentment and powerlessness. So it's time to start taking responsibility and stop grumbling about the things that aren't working out for you. If something is making you frustrated or angry, it's time to look at what it is and why is it making you feel that way? Is it that you feel like you're being taken advantage of? And let's say, for example, you're a busy mom or dad and you feel like you're the sole person who's responsible for a lot of the things that go on in the household. That would make you feel very resentful. And you could have the tendency to complain about it and say, this isn't fair. But right there, when you say this isn't fair, that is a victim mentality. And when you're saying that, you're not taking responsibility for your own life. You're blaming everyone else for what's happening around you. And that is not going to make you feel any better, and it's not going to cause you to feel powerful. It's going to do the opposite. You're going to feel less powerful. You are going to feel a lot more resentful and angry, and those things are not going to help you. What you need to do is start accepting responsibility for how you feel. Don't let what everybody else is doing dictate your emotions. So if someone else tries to make you feel bad about yourself, accept that that person has to be feeling bad themselves. They wouldn't just go out and make you feel bad if they were happy with themselves. So there's a difference between if someone tries to make you feel bad and all of a sudden you're in a bad mood and they make you have a bad day and you're letting them rob you of your personal power. When you can see the situation for what it is, that, oh, this person's kind of a nasty person and I don't need to let what they say affect me because that's their issue, not mine. And we're human. People are going to hurt your feelings sometimes. And it's okay to say, okay, that hurt, but I know that's not a reflection of me, and not allow it to make you go down that negative rabbit hole where you're thinking all bad things about yourself, because then they've just taken your power. You need to establish healthy boundaries. And when you do that, a lot of this other stuff will fall into place that'll stop happening. Because if you set a healthy boundary with someone, if someone says to you something that makes you feel bad and you say to them, if you speak to me in that manner again, we will not come around you, or we will do this, there will be some consequence. Setting a healthy boundary means you refuse to give in to guilt trips. And when you refuse to speak up for yourself, it's like essentially you're giving your power away to someone else. So don't allow people to guilt you into doing things that you don't want to do. Set that healthy physical and emotional boundary over how you're going to spend your time, when you want to do it, and with who you want to spend your time, because otherwise you're giving into guilt trips and you're going to, again, blame others for having to do things you don't want to do, when really it's your fault if you don't set a healthy boundary. So you've really got to establish, hey, look, I don't want to do this and we're not doing this. You need to also forgive. Holding grudges against people who hurt you, it doesn't punish the other person, it punishes you, because you're carrying around this guilt and all the emotions that go along with being angry and upset with someone. And so the best way for you to take your power back is to forgive that person and to let it go. Even if it's someone who's done you so wrong, forgiving a person does not mean that you're okay with them or that you ever want to be around them again. You can forgive someone and say, I never want to see their stupid, ugly face again. No, you don't have to say it in that way, but you know what I mean. You can forgive them and say, I don't want to be around them again. And what they did is not okay, but I choose to forgive and let go for myself. And I've talked about this before, but the Radical Forgiveness website, just go to Google and search Radical Forgiveness. They have a website there that offers free worksheets that you can fill out to work on to let go of anger and to help you forgive others and even yourself. You might even need to forgive yourself because you've allowed others to take advantage of you. And you know what? Here's the thing. When you know better, you do better. And For most of us, we were conditioned to believe that this was the way we were supposed to do things. When we learn new ways of behavior and we start implementing them, we feel better about ourselves. But until we learn these things, we don't know. So be gentle and kind with yourself because you're still learning. So be gentle and kind with yourself, okay? You are still learning. So another thing that you need to do is to make sure that you know what your values are. If you don't have clear values for yourself, it can be very easy to let others influence you and to take on other people's ideas, and that might not be things that are really important to you. It's also important that you don't waste time on unproductive thoughts. So don't dread your day, don't dread the day ahead and think about all of the time you have to be at work and hate it and not want to go to work. That's very unproductive, and those thoughts will take over and control your mind. So you don't want to give away your personal power by thinking negative thoughts about things you might have to do or what's coming up. You also need to avoid language that implies you're a victim. So saying things like, I have to work 50 hours this week, or I had to say yes to this person and I didn't want to do it. Those kinds of things imply that you're a victim of your unfortunate circumstances. And another big one is just, it's not fair. It's not fair. Why am I the only one who ever takes out the trash? Well, you're the only one because you didn't ask anyone else to do it, or in a lot of ways, and I'm just going to say what's been true in my own experience, but in a lot of ways, we are a victim of our own selves because we don't speak up. We don't ask. You never know if somebody is going to help you if you don't ask them. Or here's what I would do. I'd ask one time and they didn't do it, and so I'd be like, fine, well, they're never going to help. And the person was like, well, you just needed to remind me. I would do it. And my whole thought was, why should I have to remind you? But honestly, I have to be reminded about things. If somebody tells me something once and maybe I was busy in the middle of them telling me, I'll say yes and then just forget about it. So people do need to be reminded, but don't think of it as I have to tell them again or like it's nagging. It's not. They're human. And if that annoys you so much to have to tell them more than once, maybe come up with a way that they can put a reminder in a phone or something for them to do it. But you need to start taking back your power because that whole I have to do everything is a victim mentality. We could all sit here and complain about everything we have to do in our lives. It's not going to get us anywhere. It's not going to make us feel good. It's going to do the complete opposite. It is robbing us of our personal power. So stop complaining. And that's a big one. And a lot of people like to complain. But, if you're doing that, you're giving away your power. So there are some things you can do to work on your throat chakra. There are throat chakra healing affirmations. I'm going to give you a couple now. And you can go to Pinterest or you can even go to Google and just look up throat chakra healing affirmations. They're out there. You can also you can do a chakra healing meditation. I have one for $10 on my website that you can purchase. There are just others out there, but mine's just it's like a 15-minute meditation you can do before bed or any time really. It's just any time you can sit and relax for a little bit. And it opens up those energy chakras that can become blocked. Doing Reiki is also great because within a Reiki session, I don't know that all Reiki practitioners do this, but I do. When I do a Reiki session with someone, I open your blocked chakras. And in fact, I can tell you which chakra is blocked. And it usually corresponds with whatever physical or emotional symptom you're going through. We look at it, we're like, isn't that interesting? I've been experiencing a sore throat. Yes, my throat chakra is blocked. So here are some of the affirmations. I speak up for myself. I express myself with clarity and confidence. When I speak, I do not back away from what is true. I express my gratitude towards life. So I love those throat chakra affirmations, and I think they're great. There are also crystals that you can wear that help with the throat chakra. So some of them are like the lapis lazuli is one. The indigo and dark blue crystals are really good for the throat chakra healing. So turquoise is another one, aquamarine, blue opal, sapphire, blue topaz. And then some essential oils you can use, the Breathe from doTERRA, sage, rosemary, or tea tree. Those are some you can also use. But the main thing is just change the way you talk, okay? And set healthy boundaries for yourself, because that's really going to help you. Knowing you speak your truth, okay, that's going to help you to feel better and to open up that chakra, really. All right, guys. Well, I wanted to pull a card for you today. And again, I'm pulling a card from my new Oracle deck, Divine Whispers. I love this deck so much. And again, one of my listeners said, I wish I could just carry you around in my pocket all day and have you speaking in my ear, giving me advice. And it gave me a light bulb moment of, hey, I could make my own cards, and that way people could pull a card for themselves every day and get the advice they need from the divine. And so before I even created this deck, I just meditated and I said, give me the messages that people need to hear. And they just started pouring out. So excited about this deck. And you can order this deck on my website. So if you go to melissaoatman.com, there's a PayPal link. There are 3 options for packaging. You can get them where they come just in shrink wrap, and that is the cheapest option. Or you can get a card box, which is like what a deck of cards would come in, like playing cards. Or you can get them in a tin box, which was my favorite option and which is what I got. And if you join me on my Facebook Lives, you will see the tin box. So there are 3 options, and unfortunately right now you do have to add $5.99 for shipping. I'm trying to work on that though, so if you have already ordered a deck from me and I do find a cheaper method, I will be reaching out to you to also offer you some other kind of compensation, because I would like to try to find a cheaper way to ship them, because right now it's a little expensive because they're coming straight from the company. All right, so the card that I pulled for you for today is Rest Your Weary Head. You are busy. You are constantly going in every direction right now. The universe wants you to slow down, relax, take some time for yourself. It's so important to get a good night's sleep every evening. Your body is a miraculous and amazing vessel that needs time to recharge. Be sure to set some time aside before you go to bed to unwind. Do a quick meditation, take a hot bath, read a little out of a good book. Do something to release from the day's tension. Before your head hits the pillow, be sure to thank the universe for all of the amazing things that happen during the day, like having a pillow to rest your head on. Remember that there are people who only dream about being where you are. Creator of all that is, I want to thank you for the awesome blessings that flowed into my life today. I can't wait to see what tomorrow has in store for me. Thank you for the rest that is allowing my body to recharge, rejuvenate, and restore my energy. I know I'm going to have beautiful dreams tonight. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you for being with me. And as always, if you like this podcast, please share it with others. Please subscribe. That helps others to find me. If you would like to work with me, you can go to my website, melissaoatman.com. You can see all of the services that I offer there. And if you would like to book something, you can simply email me, text me, or call me, or you can send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. Follow me on social media. All of my information is in the description to the podcast. Don't forget to join me on my Facebook Lives every Monday at 5:30 Central, where I do a free card reading for you. And you can also get your own deck if you go to melissaoatman.com. Thank you again so much for being with me. I appreciate all of you. I am sending you massive love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.